close up the mossy glen, turned and trooped the goblin men with their shrill repeated cry, come by, come by, come by.
Hello, hi Sharon, the invisible woman.
Hi.
Well, this is very, very exciting for us because our deck of the week for this Halloween weekend is the Goblin Market Tarot. And this is very special because this deck is not officially released yet, not until November. It's also special because this is being accompanied by an interview with the creators, who are John Matthews, who's very well known over here in the UK for fairy folklore. Him and his wife Caitlin, I mean, they've kind of I think they've written 150 odd books all about kind of like fairies and magic. They've created all sorts of decks and they're huge over here. The artist is called Charles Newington, who's done artwork for lots of albums, including Led Zeppelin, the Kinks, and there is also an I can't say it, an accompanying album of the Goblin Market poem by Christina Rossetti. So there is an accompanying album of the Christina Rossetti poem of the Goblin Market, and that's been composed and by Julian Lippman, who's part of a very well-known band over here called Steel Eye Span, and a lot of the musicians on this Goblin Market album are from that band. Yeah, and singing on it. So, but it is actually a Julian Lippman composition. Okay, now it comes in this very nice, oops, hold on a minute, well, it was all beautifully lined up, so it comes in this very nice box. Okay, that is accompanied by this book, Goblin Market Tarot. There's an explanation of each of the cards in the book and kind of like how that relates to parts of the poem, sort of, you know, how that has been inspired. So we're not
Nice.
Yeah, we're not absolute experts on the poem. We have actually kind of read the poem. I've heard the album, which is absolutely fantastic. It's very moody, very atmospheric. But let's just kind of look at this, how we look at all of our deck of the weeks, and go through it as a tarot deck for this part of the project. So without further ado, I'd give you the Goblin Market Tarot. The Fairy Wanderer, obviously the Fool. I mean, yeah, I mean, he's got all the kind of elements there of the Fool. He's about to kind of like jump off a cliff.
I don't think he's anywhere near the cliff. I think he's already flying.
Well, it does look like that, actually. There is a difference. He still has a little animal.
Is that a monkey?
That's what I was thinking. To me, that looks like a little monkey trying to stop him, or is it trying to actually push him? I'm not sure.
I think it's jumping with him. It looks like it's trying to grab that apple.
Yes. But he is obviously one of the goblins who's kind of, you know, kicks off the story. And there's all those little fairies and sprites flying around him. And there's also, it looks like someone in the water, sort of, does they want to be saved or something? I don't know.
He looks like he's smiling. He looks like he's saying, "You got this, keep going."
I mean, I'm tempted to kind of look in the book, but if I keep doing that, this deck of the week is going to kind of actually go on forever.
Right.
Let's just look at the Fool one just to sort of kick it off. The Fairy Wanderer, or the Fool, is one of the most ancient characters in. He challenges the establishment, bursts the balloon, and moves at his own pace. An explorer, blah blah blah. That's saying about the Fool card, but I'm just trying to see how it relates to this particular deck. looking at this really, really quickly, it doesn't. I'm not. I'm not doing it justice here because I would really, really need to read it thoroughly. But I can't see anything jumping out at me that in the book that particularly relates to the poem. So it just gives a good description on the kind of, you know, the what the Fool is all about.
Okay.
That makes sense. Which is, and I think it is fair to say that whether you're a human or whether you're a fairy or whether you're an animal, the Fool does exist, doesn't it, in all of us? So
Oh yeah.
it's kind of it that works. Now, I've got to say, I absolutely love the name of the next card, which obviously would be the equivalent of the Magician, but it's called the Cunning Man.
Oh, that's, yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, you know, there he is. He really does look like he's giving a performance. It's a bit like, you know, you can see the magician there, can't you?
Yeah.
You know, what's going to happen? Are those, I don't know what they are, those fruits within his fingers, but are they going to multiply or are they going to just disappear before our eyes? I mean, yeah, he's definitely going to trick us with his next move, whatever it may be.
That's, yeah, because a lot of people equate the magician to the trickster or Loki.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's like perfect. I think those are cherry fruits.
Yes, actually, I think you're right. I mean, there is an implication there that the magician is going to trick you and fool you rather than be a wonderful manifester, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you have to go with that. But he definitely is one of the goblins.
I
Okay.
really like the way the border is alive. The already the border, like there's that one little rose that's creeping out of the border to be a part of the picture over
What's
in
that
the,
down the bottom?
yeah, I like that.
Oh,
I see little
yeah.
people in the wreath and oh, that's cool. I could look at the wreath for hours.
Well, you will be looking at the wreath for hours because it borders all of the pictures.
Oh, that's cool. I'm curious to see if the wreath forms other pieces of other pictures too, because that rose is very, very important in the magician.
Yeah. Well, here comes the High Priestess. So she's called the Enchantress. She looks kind of sad to me. That looks like a
She
tear.
does. He's got that on his hand too. I wonder what that symbol is. He's got the same symbol on the palm of his hand with the cherries, I think.
Let me go back to it. Oh, yeah, he has got something there, hasn't he?
Yeah, is it the same image? Or is this imagery?
I need to put the light on to, hang on, to see this better. Do you know, I think you might be right. Here in the Goblin Market depiction, she's more subtle, hiding her mysteries and making the universal sign of secrecy, placing a finger next to her mouth.
Ah. Okay, that's a really good high
She wears the
priestess.
crescent of the moon on her brow.
Yep, I see it. Actually, on top of her head, above
Oh,
the
okay,
wreath.
yeah.
Yep.
As a sign of her luminous power, while the moon itself may be seen in the sky behind her, drawing its own company of fairies into its sphere of influence. Okay, so that is the High Priestess, known here as the Enchantress. And again, she is surrounded by all those fairies flying around her. So, Number 3, the Empress, the Fairy Queen.
Ooh.
So she has all the little people there at her feet, doesn't she?
Yeah. All the different kinds of faces. I see what looks like a little anteater over there.
A little anteater.
Yeah, I'm pointing at it like you can see my damn finger under the little yellow swirl. It looks like a little anteater goblin.
Oh, yes, it does. Yeah, it does. Okay. So now we have the Emperor, aka the Fairy King.
I cannot wait to ask John what the heck that symbol is.
Yeah, because that's on his hand as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 I think write that down, Sharon, because we definitely need to find out the answer to that.
We sure do. What is the symbol?
I'm just having a look at interestingly, the wreath. I'm just going, it has different, the wreath is different on the different cards. I'm just looking at what's inside the wreath, because if you look at the Fairy Queen, there's two little kind of animal heads, it looks like, at the bottom there, and a little kind of, it looks, well, it's in a yoga position sitting at the top, whereas you've got a completely different figures in the Fairy King.
Okay, yeah, I would be like, see,
Yeah.
I would use this for, this would help me meditate because it gives my eyes so much to focus on each card that I could spend hours working with this.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, on the first impression, it just looks like they're all in a wreath, but there is real detail in the wreath. So, you know, if you are going to get this deck and work with this deck, I think familiarizing yourself with the differences in the wreath as well as the picture would really, really help your readings.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Now, the Fairy Wise Man, aka the Hierophant.
Ooh.
So again, it's very meditative, isn't it? Like the position he's sitting in. He's got his two little followers are up there in the tree, aren't they?
Yeah.
Looking down on him instead of the usual looking up to the Hierophant. They're yeah, it's almost like he's part of the earth, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's beautiful. I like that.
And I think his wreath is entirely different.
Yeah, the colors even. The colors are more earthy than floral, if that makes any sense. Or fruity. That's very, I think the wreaths say a lot.
I mean, we should also point out, shouldn't we, that this deck does have these fruits, like the majors have the fruits, all four fruits in the corners of the majors. And this changes when we get to the minors. But anyway, I'm just
I wonder, is each fruit representing a different element, and why?
Yeah, it is. I will get to that when I get to each of the minors.
Okay.
Or shall I, maybe I should say that now. It says here a special symbol to watch out for. And it's a bit like, I think this is the thing that's on the hand. And in fact, it is the symbol that he's got between his legs, the Fairy Wise Man, that yellow thing.
Okay.
A small spiral with a downward bisecting line. This is an ancient image, particularly associated with the people of Ireland and signifying a gateway into their world. It became central to my 2004 book, The Sidhe, Wisdom from the Celtic Otherworld, and has since threaded through many of my other work. So look out for this symbol as you use the deck and see if it adds to your experience of working with the Goblin Market Tarot. So when we get to the minor arcana, these four pieces of fruit will become more apparent, but you've got the suit of platters, which is associated with pears, and that is the earth sign. The suit of crowns, which is apples, which is the air sign. The suit of cups, strawberries, water sign. And the suit of wands, blackberries, fire sign. So that explains those four fruits that are in the corners, in all of the corners of the majors. So I will continue.
All right.
The fairy lovers.
Oh.
That's so cute. I love that.
Oh, yes. Look. It almost has a Two of Cups feel, although I guess that could be the angel, but it looks like the little winged imp up in the top of
Yes,
them.
yes. It's so cute. And they are fairy lovers. And I love the kind of like the purple background as well. That really appeals to me. Yeah, it's just lovely.
I really like his use of color.
Yeah, it's honestly lovely. Okay, now we have the fairy wagon, aka the chariot. And this is you know, this really is like a sort of a parade, isn't it? You know, it's like whoever is driving that wagon is bringing all of his entourage with him. You know, it looks like a sort of a float to me at a carnival or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a caravan to the market.
True. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that is great. Look at the
I mean,
little
or
snail.
yeah, maybe that's kind of like very related to the poem, like the story of like with all their wares and all their fruit.
Yeah.
I don't know if the fairies and the goblins, I mean, are they the same or are they on two different sides of the same coin?
Goblins are fairies, like the fairy king. Jared is the king of the fairies, but he like is the father of the goblins, the king of the goblins. They're just a different, like there's different breeds of fairy.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fairy switch. Now, this is interesting. This is number 8. So I need to check what is meant by this. So excuse me, I just want to be really sure what I'm looking at. An ancient symbol of fairy control used on humans and rebellious goblins.
Oh.
In the hands of a fairy, it can bring complete thraldom of the one at which it is pointed or who is touched by it. The touch of the fairy switch can bring cessation of movement, transform people into animals, or take away their senses. The switch is the probable origin of the magical fairy wand, beloved of pantomime tradition. Now, I don't see immediately for me, I don't see that being strength, nor do I see that being justice.
No, it's
That definitely feels like it's something else altogether.
yeah, control of something.
Yeah.
Although
Hmm.
I guess if we look at it or stretch it, strength can be control of animal urges or control of our
True.
bestial selves, but this is control of others.
Yeah.
Like other entities. So if
I'm
you look at the old
Hmm.
depictions of the strength card, pre-weight, a lot of the depictions of that were Hercules controlling or fighting or defeating the Nemean lion.
Okay.
So more kind of like the older issue there, control over something outside of yourself.
I'm just trying to see whether there is any connection that's sort of just jumping out at me. I mean, I'm certainly no expert on the poem, you know, but I have read it and I've listened to the album a bit. I mean, does that jump out at you as something directly related to the Goblin Market poem?
Not the switch itself, but the control that they had over Laura
Yeah,
by her
true.
eating the fruit. Yeah.
Maybe that's where that's come from then.
I think so.
Yeah.
We can
Okay.
ask him.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I totally get number 9. I'm back on track.
Yay.
The lone
Ooh.
fairy. I think he's so cute.
Mm.
I
He
love
is
him.
beautiful.
I love him.
There's our symbol again.
Yes. Yes.
And that wreath.
And it's amazing, isn't it, that wreath? I mean, that's maybe my favorite wreath so far.
Yeah.
No, he's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
The fortune, oh no, not it's just called Fortune's Rule. So this is the wheel.
Oh, I like that. They say the little fairies holding on different ways. The goblins like trying to
Yeah.
keep from tipping over. Makes me think of what Gretel said years ago when she.
Oh yeah, with the thing in the middle. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good wheel. Sometimes you
I mean,
walk, sometimes you drive.
it's very abundant, isn't it? With all that fruit. I mean, the baskets are like literally overflowing with it.
Yeah.
Fortune's Rule. Okay. Now, number 11. This is interesting. The
Oh.
Secret Way. I'm not seeing that as strength, and I'm not seeing that as justice either.
No, I would imagine that the equivalent of fairy justice would probably be pretty foreign to us. So the secret way.
Yeah, I'm feeling like, to me, that feels more like the moon, but you know, there's no moon there, so it's obviously not the moon. But it's shrouded in mystery, that one, isn't it? I mean, is that because it's called The Secret Way? I mean, would I look at that picture and think, if I didn't see the wording there at all, I don't know what I would make of that one, to be honest.
Well, look, yeah, I think that you might become like, it's a little bit creepy because if you look down at the bottom of the forestation around him, you can see the faces, you know, looking out at him, almost like the wood itself is alive.
Yeah.
So, yep, and then
Yeah.
the little snake coming toward him, or is it leaving him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that one
mean,
I'd have to.
it is a little bit spooky, the card.
Yeah,
I don't, that picture, I don't dislike it. I just am not sure how I would interpret that immediately in a reading, but
yeah,
you'd
I'd have
probably
to.
know in the situation, wouldn't you, where to
Oh
go?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I definitely would not read that as. I would not even try to force justice into there.
No,
That's
no.
the beauty of it, is, you know, you got to not force. You got to read the card. I
I
don't know
think
how I'd read that.
I'm increasingly thinking, if you buy this deck and you want to get the most out of it, you might need to read the little book.
Yeah.
And how much that relates to the actual poem, or whether it's just their huge vast knowledge of fairies and that kind of world, I think the explanations will be in that little book. That I think that will inspire you as a reader.
Yeah, it seems like the poem was the inspiration for the deck itself, but it doesn't seem to have the poem in it yet, because like there, you know, no Goblin King was mentioned, no females, elves or fairies were present in the story. It was human women.
Yes,
So
true.
I'm curious to see how it ties it into the story of the market itself.
Yes. Well, you're going to love the next one. The Upside Downer.
That's
I love it.
Is he mooning us?
I think it's great. I love the fact that you're seeing the hands behind his back.
Okay, that's in his hands. All I saw was flesh
And
colored. I thought he was
it's that
mooning us.
it's that little symbol again. I think I
Yeah.
love it. I think that is so quirky.
Yeah, it is. And that look on his face, like, oh, you think you got me. Kind of Cheshire cat there.
I think that's so cute.
I
Okay.
like that.
Now, 13, yeah, death, the dark one. I get that.
He looks so sweet. There's a little smile on his face and the fairy dancing on his sickle. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the skulls and things in it. Yeah,
Oh, the wreath.
yeah. And there's even a little ghost, it looks like, up the top. Or, yeah.
Yeah, dance. Oh, at the very top of the wreath, it looks like a little cat face ghost. It's
Yeah.
adorable. I love that wreath.
Do you know what I really love is the little fairy dancing on top of the, you know,
Yes.
the death thingy. Like somebody's happy that this one has died, whatever. It's not all bad news. Okay, this is gorgeous. The fairy dreamer.
Oh.
I just think it's just joyous. I love it. I absolutely love it.
That is beautiful.
And all
he
the little
looks-
faces coming out of the wreath. It's just, yeah, sorry, Sharon.
He looks like the fool with the same helmet on as the fool.
Let me just have a look.
Oh, I love that.
Is he the same? I don't know. It's very similar. He's very similar. Yep. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh. I think it's a gorgeous card. Okay. The fairy trickster, the devil. So yeah, so they've got the cunning man as the magician and the trickster as the devil. And I do think he does look quite scary. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he does. And he's got the apples.
He has, which is the knowledge one, isn't it? That was the air one.
Yeah.
I think he's quite frightening looking, to be
Yeah,
fair.
he is. Yeah, he is.
Okay. The fallen tree. I think that's fantastic. That is marvelous.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, for the tower.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's beautiful.
I love the actual tree itself, kind of thinking, oops.
Yeah, it's like, and the lightning bolt. Check out how the lightning bolt goes up into the wreath and travels around the. Oh, that's wicked.
Yes. It's great, isn't it?
Yes. Ah.
It does remind me of a ride at Alton Towers called Hex, which is based on a legend of, you know, the Earl of Shrewsbury was sort of driving through the forest late at night, and an old woman or an old peasant stopped the carriage and said, spare a penny or something for a beggar, and he just drove past, and she shouted out, you know, I put a curse on you. For every branch that falls from the old oak tree, a member of your family will die. It looks exactly like that, actually. It's like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a very great rendition of the tower.
Okay. The starry roof.
Oh.
Now, I'm not being funny, but he's looking right up her, you know.
Right up her skirt.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the immediate reaction to that.
Mine was, it looks like she fell flat on her back. Like splat.
It could look like that. It's just the positioning of him, isn't it?
Yeah, that's funny.
It's a little bit strange that there's both of them in that there. It must, you know, like, what does it mean that she looks like she's jumping with joy, or it could be that she looks splattered. But
is he trying to catch her?
don't
Like
know.
Catch a Falling Star?
And it's very vibrant, isn't it? And it's very starry.
Yeah.
Unless it's meant to be some sort of circus performance and he's thrown her into the air. I don't know.
Right, because there's other little goblins behind him reaching up
Yeah.
too. I'd have to study that
Yeah,
one.
I'd have to study that one. Okay, so now we've got the Moonlit Spell.
Now that's
I mean, that is
beautiful.
gorgeous. I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
I absolutely love it. I just think she's just, it hasn't got all the, I know it's got those two sort of towers either side, and they're two trees with faces and all of that sort of stuff, but I just think there's something very beautiful about that moon.
Yeah, I think that is gorgeous.
I love it.
I'm
Okay.
dying to see the sun.
The sunroom.
Ah,
I mean,
I love it.
are they just having a sort of having a party of some description?
I was going to ask you if they were having an orgy, but
Well, that's what I thought as well. I'll let you be the one that says it. It does sort of imply that, doesn't it?
yeah, it does a little bit. It does. But they're not shy. They're just having a good time, eating their fill.
Do we put this on our list of questions? Is the sunroom
I
a
wouldn't be able to
grown-up
ask.
party? Is it a grown-up party?
Yeah, that does look awfully like a grown-up party. Yeah.
Well, considering how that card in the Rider-Waite deck is very child friendly normally, this has got a different feel to it, I would say.
Yeah, it does. Does. Complete and utter abandon that usually only children can find. Maybe.
Now, 20, which would be the judgment card, the Queen's favor.
That makes sense.
Well, we've got the angel at the top sort of blowing his trumpet. The fruit is very plentiful there.
I like that. It's like judgment is such a harsh word, and people can look at that card and think you're being judged, whereas this, you're in favor. You know what I mean? There's a difference between being judged and being in favor. It feels like a more readable card or more relatable.
It looks nice, the card. I mean, it looks like she approves, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And the fairy realm is the world card.
God, that's beautiful. And it's got that fairy symbol at the very top. I think that's the only one that had that symbol on the wreath.
Yeah. I don't see, for me, a huge difference in the kind of feel of the card from the fairy realm to the Queen's favor somehow. They sort of, on the face of it, say something quite similar to me. Is it just me?
I don't know. See, I see her like she's sitting on the ground. She's sitting on the ground and she's giving her favor, whereas in the fairy realm, she's floating. So she's actually using her power instead of giving favor. Does that make sense? She's actually realizing.
I just feel there's a sort of similar-ish kind of vibe coming off of both of those. But again, once I've read the book and understood this better, I might they may go very different ways for me, you know.
Right, right, because they are both that fairy queen. It's the same
It
image.
definitely feels like the same person, and the difference is in one she's sitting down and the other she's standing up and dancing around. Let me just have a look at the wreath. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it is different. Okay, so pause for a second, and I'm going on to two very interesting cards that really don't have anything to do with the usual deck. These are the two extra cards, right?
Oh.
Yeah, so this one is called The One Who Went Into Fairy, and that would be the sister who engaged with the goblins.
Laura.
Yeah. And then The One Who Stayed Behind is the other card.
That's Lizzie.
Yeah.
I
So
see
they
the
are
one
directly, yeah, they're directly related to the poem.
yeah, the one who stayed behind looks so much happier. The one who went to fairy, that's a very disturbing card.
Yes. Yes.
Very.
I think there's quite a bit of food for thought with those, just those two. It's almost kind of like, okay, they're two sisters, and one went with something and the other one didn't. And it's sometimes like in life, you have two choices, don't you? It's like, should I just keep things as they are, or should I do this dramatic thing? Should I make this big change? Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I kind of like think there's quite a bit of depth to these two cards, depending on the reading and how they come up. I quite like the fact that they're there and that they've been added into this deck.
Yeah, they suit. They suit really, really well.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on, doing it in the order of that it all came up. The first cards are, in fact, the platters, which would be the pairs, and that would be the earth cards. So
Right.
this is the ace of platters.
That's cute.
So it's like being, offered or served up your kind of, your piece of fruit. I get that, and I get the connection of that with the poem as well.
Definitely, but I've got that Faye bringing up where you never, ever, ever eat food that a fairy offers you.
Oh, okay.
So to me, it's like, oh no. Oh,
Well, now we have the two of platters. So it's basically a plate with two pairs on it.
Yeah, and he's got a grip on that plate where the other one just was holding it forward. It looks like he's got a grip, and he looks like he's kind of burdened with it. The way his legs are bowed, like, wow, this is heavy.
There is that. He also looks a little bit like, with that smile on his face, it's like, like he looks like he's got a kind of a reason why he's bringing that plate.
Yeah.
From what I'm getting from it is that the food on the plate is actually poisonous, and he feels quite mischievous about it.
Oh, which is true. I don't know if you've read the poem, but that's really, really, really not good for humans.
Oh, well done, Gretel.
Yeah.
Okay. The three of platters.
I think the different way they're holding the platter says so much. It's like, this is easy.
Okay. The four of platters.
That's the cutest one.
Yeah, he looks sweet.
Okay. The five of platters.
Almost has like, you really have to look into the body language to get any Rider Waite type of imagery out of it, or any type of meaning. You'd have to That almost feel like it's almost Marseille-like as far as just putting the 5 pairs and then an image with it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask
Okay.
about that.
Yeah. The 6.
Oh, what is he trying to do? Like make those you will obey me pairs.
Well, he's got down on his knees, hasn't he? So I don't know if he's begging them to take it at this point. I don't know. Okay, the 7 of platters.
Wow.
Okay, I could just keep going. The 8 of platters.
Yeah, I would have to read the book to be able to
Yeah,
understand.
wait a second. The 9.
I like that one.
I suppose there's a little bit of a difference there, the fact that there's a few of them in it. And the 10 of platters,
Oh,
quite a task to have all your platters in the air in one go.
yeah, he looks pretty pleased with it too.
Now we've got for the pages, he's called the Porter of Platters. And then we have the Knight of Platters.
Is he cutting us a pair in half? Yes, he
They all look,
is.
they all look like, oh yeah, there is one in the end that looks like it's been chopped in half. The Lady of Platters. And last but not least on here, the Lord of Platters. And now what is coming up next are the crowns. So this is the air signs.
There you go.
So the Ace of Crowns, and these are represented by apples,
Okay.
which represent knowledge, apparently. That would make sense because you've got the tree of knowledge, haven't you, with the apple?
Yeah, yeah.
Ace of Crowns. Now we've got the 2 of Crowns.
Oh, that doesn't look comfortable.
No. I mean, there is absolutely no connection there, apart from he's looking away from the crown, but with the 2 of Swords, you're definitely going to have to read the book, or, you know, I don't think these images alone are going to kind of trigger what the message is. I think you need to kind of relate it to the specific interpretations given in the book. I don't know if you agree with me there, Sharon.
I think that would help me a lot, the specific
Yeah.
interpretations in the book, but I'm so into body language that the weight of his knowledge is just too much for him, type of thing.
Maybe.
But I would really have to study these cards before I went around slinging interpretations, of course.
3 of Crowns.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The 4 of Crowns.
I've noticed like the wreaths on the suits are the same for the suit. They represent the suit. So he didn't have to do like 78 different intricate wreaths.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. Yeah. The 5 of Crowns. That's quite a leg movement if ever I saw one.
He's a 5.
Oh yes.
Wait a minute. Now we gotta
hang on.
Yes.
No, it doesn't follow through. Right, that's the 3. Wait a minute. The 2 is the 2 a 2?
Yes, it is.
The 2. Oh, well done. I'm not seeing the 3.
Maybe it's like if you turn it to the side, it's a 3.
But like that. Oh, maybe, yeah.
Maybe. Push it over to the side a little bit. You got them. I mean, no, the cards themselves, they were over to the outside of the camera view. A little bit over to the side.
Oh.
To your, yeah. There you go. So he's a 4.
The 5. Yeah, that is a 5.
Oh, that's well done.
I'm not seeing it. No, well done to you, but I can't see the 6 there. Am I missing it?
I think you have to stretch to see the 6, but
And the 7.
yeah, those would be a stretch.
8. Oh, I can see the 8
Yep, definitely the 8.
and the 9.
I love that.
Oh no, that's the 9. 10, no, but the 10 is showing like the family. So
Yeah.
but 10 of Swords is obviously all that very dramatic kind of, endings card. I'm not seeing that whatsoever here. This feels more like the 10 of coins, or do you know what I mean? Or the
Yeah,
10
it
of,
really does.
yeah. So it's very different,
Yeah.
which is fine. Okay, moving on to the Porter of Crowns.
Up and to the left. There you go. Wow. You got the whole market behind him. I love that one.
Yes, I like that one a lot. The Knight of Crowns.
Mm. Okay.
Lady of
please.
Crowns.
Beautiful.
And the Lord of Crowns. And he's got that symbol in the middle of his forehead.
I like him.
He's a bit jestery, isn't he, with that collar?
Yeah, the collar, yeah.
Okay, so now
kind.
cups. Oh, no. She's lovely.
That's flipping gorgeous. I want that for my wall.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? It's really
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah. The 2 of Cups.
Okay, I don't see a 2.
Nope.
I love the use of the water.
Yeah.
Totally different feel than the Rider-Waite.
Now, but having said that, then this is totally identifiable with the 3 of Cups.
Yeah.
4 of Cups.
They're
mean,
adorable.
I just think this is really cute. I need to kind of take this one in. I found this one really interesting. I like it. Very different.
Very different. They're beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
And then the figure in the cup.
Yeah.
I want to know what
Gorgeous.
it means. I'm going to have to get these and study them.
Yeah. The 5 of Cups. I mean, I can see like the tears there at the top.
Yeah.
So I can see the sort of sorrow thing going on there.
And anger.
Yes, because you've got the fire there as well.
Yeah.
6 of Cups. I mean, it's got a different vibe to it, but I like it. It's happy. It's nice.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't get the nostalgia thing or the children or the safe place thing, but definitely get it's a happy card. It's lovely.
Yeah, it is.
7 of Cups.
That I really love the cups.
Yeah. I'm liking the cups too. The 8 of Cups. I don't know. I do not know. We need to look in the book for that one.
Is really tickling the back of my head about something, but I can't put my finger on it. But I think if I spent some time with this card, my head would explode.
See, I would get this one more as the 7 of Cups because it's very kind of, dreamy, and it's very kind of, do you know what I mean? Imaginative and all that sort of thing. To me, I don't see I don't see a link with the usual Eight of Cups, but I'm not bothered by that, but maybe I am bothered by that.
Yeah, it's really tough because our brains want to equate it to what we know of the Rider-Waite. And I think that keeps us from being able to interpret a new design that is outside of that because our brains expect it.
Yeah, I mean, it is there's something reflective about it.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
also something like instead of leaving, they're becoming each other, or it's right at the tip of my brain and I can't touch it. I need to play with this card.
Basically, I quite like the Suit of Cups in this deck. I've got to say, it's interesting.
I love this card.
Okay.
Almost has a feeling of surrender.
The Nine of Cups. The Ten of Cups.
Oh, wow. Is that the creature that was dancing in the cup? Oh, what card was that?
Oh, well, hang on. Let me just
I think it was the 2. No.
3, 4.
4. That's the 4 of Cups that they were looking
No,
at.
they're different. No, they're different. 5, 6, 7. It's a little bit like the 7 of Cups. 8, 9. In fact, it's actually mostly like the 9 of Cups. Look.
Oh, yeah, with the colors.
Yeah.
Almost has a Rider-Waite Ace of Cup feel because of
Yeah.
the what looks like lilies in the water.
Okay. Porter of Cups.
Where's my fish?
Knight of Cups. I get that. Yeah, I
Oh,
get him.
yes, I like him.
Lady of Cups.
She's up in the water.
And the Lord of Cups.
Ooh.
So he's a bit of a party animal, I think. And last but not least, we have the Suit of Wands.
Up into the, yeah, little over to the left. There you go.
The Ace of Wands.
She's got the scepter of that
The
fairy
Two of
symbol.
Wands. That's quite
That's
interesting.
beautiful. That's sensual.
Yeah. Three of Wands.
Although I like the wreath for the wands.
Yes, it's nice. It's the blackberries, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Three of Wands. Four of Wands. Well, actually, is that the two sisters? No, they're fairies, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Four of Wands.
I like that.
The Five of Wands. Well, that's playful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like Cirque du Soleil. Actually, so does the Six a bit. Six of Wands.
Very, very, it shows a lot of like action. They're actually,
Yes.
it shows movement.
Yes, I agree. The Seven of Wands.
A lot of movement in the wands. Really like that.
Yes. Now we've got another reflective one here for the Eight of Wands. So again, no bearing whatsoever on the usual Rider-Waite. And I'm just throwing this out there, but I don't immediately see any connection. I'm not just saying with this card, but with quite a lot of the cards and the actual poem or the story. So it'd be very interesting to see how the story is reflected, you know, in the deck as a whole.
I'm curious to that too, because is this more about the goblins that are part of the market? Because the only two cards we've seen with Laura and Lizzie, or any humans at all, were the one who left behind and the one who went to Fairy, or one who stayed behind.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also with these eights, I'm wondering if there's more, these are more numerology driven as well with the pips.
That's a good point. Yeah. 9.
That's, I think I don't know. I can't remember the first 9, the Platters, but the other 2 9s were close up with really big heads.
The 10. Porter of Wands.
He's adorable.
The Knight of Wands. The Lady of Wands. She's rather lovely. And finally, last but absolutely not least, the Lord of Wands. There he is.
Oh, wow.
So that is the Goblin Market Tarot deck. That is the back of the deck.
Ooh.
Is it fully reversible? Yeah, it looks as though it is. It does look as though it is fully reversible. Okay. That is the deck. Very interesting deck. I would be terrified to pull that out of Reading in the Dark.
Yeah, I would not. I would want a lot of time to get to know this deck. It's the subtleties, the subtle differences in the cards are what will make this deck scream, I think, if you know the deck really well.
I think if you love fairies, and if you really, really kind of like spend a little bit of time with the poem and the goblins and all of that sort of thing, although we need to sort of, with the interview, hopefully we'll be a little bit more clued up on the relationship between the deck and the actual poem. I think somebody could really, really enjoy working with this deck. But I don't think it's an easy deck to read from. It's not one of those you just pick up and away you go. I don't think.
Yeah, you need to spend time with it. And I would recommend reading the book. Like when I get the deck, I'll be reading the book to see what they say, because it is not a Rider-Waite clone at all, which in and of itself is a good thing. There are plenty of Rider-Waite clones out there.
Yeah. But having sort of listened to the album as well, which is great and really sort of like brings the whole sort of poem really alive, and it kind of takes you into that world. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like feel that there'll be sort of certain people that would absolutely kind of love to dive deeper into this deck.
Yeah. I probably be getting this deck to dive into it.
Yeah, you're very fairy Sharon, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's look forward to the interview that goes with it. And it's just been wonderful to kind of like have this access to a deck that's not even out yet. I find that a real honor and very exciting. So,
Yes.
bye for now.
Bye.
You must not loiter in the glen, in the haunts of Goblin Men. You must not loiter in the glen.